Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. Yesterday was the birthday of Juventus, the 1st of November 2023, and a beautiful picture was posted on the social media of our beloved Juventus with the players of the past, the present and the future. One player that was missing in that picture is Douglas Costa, a player that at the moment we are all considering a next player of Juventus, which he is. Can he become a future player of Juventus? Well, we will talk about that in the beginning of the video, and then a lot of talks about the big game that will be played on Sunday, Fiorentina Juve, and some renewals from the easy ones of Rugani and Locatelli to the difficult one of Dusan Vlahovic, finishing of course with new names of Mercato. And pay attention because there is a new name linked to Juventus. So if you didn't yet start the month with a beautiful maximum of like, continue to subscribe to the channel because we start now. Why was I saying actually that Douglas Costa could become also a future player of Juventus? Because if 12-13 hours ago he posted an Instagram story where he was asking the fans where his future destination of holidays would be, a lot of people, 46% of the people said Italy. Well, this morning someone, Tommaso Agosta, tagged him on Facebook telling yes, Douglas Costa is in Torino Caselle, the airport. So after a few investigations, some journalists are telling us yes, it could be that he's there, but at the moment there is no meeting planned with the management of La Vecchia Signora. At the moment looks like he's there for private own things. What they could be, I have absolutely no idea. We will discover that. I think that Douglas Costa is sending another sign to Juventus, tell, oh, I'm here, I'm available, just take your phone, I'm here to extend or to actually continue my journey, a new journey in black and white. This is something that we will talk, of course, in the future days. Why? Because now we start officially November, since yesterday, we know it, and November, December, and then we go with the new Mercato session, the one of the winter that should be much more exciting, because we are looking for some players, and Juventus should reinforce, especially in the midfield, some players we will talk about in the end of the video. So what is Gazzetta dello Sport already pushing in on that 2nd of November, where a lot of people have their day off? Well, they are going with the Derby d'Italia. Inter e Juve, dite la verità. Inter e Juve, tell us the truth. Well, what kind of truth are they speaking about? The truth about who is ready to compete and to win that Scudetto. Because November will tell us a lot of things. If this weekend we will have two big games, Fiorentina, Juve, but also Inter that will play against Atalanta. Well, Atalanta is in form at the moment. Fiorentina a bit less because they come from two consecutive losses. They will be angry. They are already pumped up from their own tifosi, something that we will talk about in a second because I show you some images that we collected on social network about how the tifosi are pushing their own team. Well, we will see. After that, another game, Cagliari for Juventus, and then after the international break, we finish with Juve-Inter, a big game. Where will both teams be at the end of November? This is something that we will have to wait a bit for. Not a lot of games, so not a lot of chances, but really huge, impactful game. And also pay attention to Cagliari, that is coming now from two consecutive wins. One, the first one in Serie A, but also the one in Coppa Italia. Looks like that 4-3 remontada meant a lot for the team of ex-coach of Juventus, Ranieri. You saw Danilo on that first poster of the calendar of November. Well, Danilo will miss the game against Fiorentina this weekend. He will not be available because apparently his muscular injury is still not at 100% healed yet. We will have to wait for it, but the good news, Gatti Federico will be there. Was it a doubt? Yes, in a way, because do you remember Juve Verona, the 26th minute of the first half, where that was that kind of push of Federico on the player from Verona, Milan Juric? From one angle of the video you thought or you could think that it was a really punch. It was not, because we were able to see the other side of the images. Well, Giuseppe Chinet, that I am absolutely not presenting anymore, on the 30th of October, the first thing that he did was to go to the Giudice Sportivo, to the sporting judge, to ask to review these images. So not only the VAR could go and check while the game was going on, but also asking to review it a few days later, to ask to ban Federico for violent conduct. They investigated because there was a request, they checked, they even contacted the referee that was there the last time, not the perfect referee, but this time he was perfect because he said, I saw it live, I also whistled that it was a foul, I gave a free kick for Verona, so according also to the rules, this episode is closed, forget about it. Something really strange that Giuseppe Quinè is going for Juventus, so could it be that you are asking to review it a few days later? Maybe if the referee or the VAR forget about it, why not? But it's really strange, and that's how we Juventini are feeling, that it's always against Juventus that they are finding new things, asking to review, to be sure, to find something, because you know, without Alexandro, without Danilo, without now Federico Gatti, it could have been perfect, without anybody in defense to play against Fiorentina, that at the moment has 2 more goals than Juve. Strange things, especially because Giuseppe Quinè, his obsession with Juventus is going bigger and bigger, because if he was able to spot that Gatti-Juric episode, well, apparently he forgot about Faraoni simulation, because this was something that they didn't ask for, they didn't report, they didn't even spoke about. Really strange. And this time I have to praise Gazzetta dello Sport, that online on their social network were saying, look, Faraoni didn't receive any extra punishment. It was not reviewed from the Sporting Justice after the game was played, so that means that he will be available there. That means that from now on, everyone that wants to simulate, everyone that wants to simulate something, well, it's okay. That's the sign that they are giving to all the kids that are watching football, a bad sign. So this time I really agree with Gazzetta dello Sport. So what will be the defense for Fiorentina now that we have the certainty that Federico will be there? It will be Szczesny in the goal, Gatti, Bremer and Rugani, that at the moment when they are playing together didn't concede any goal. Anyway, we are going after 70 minutes of the video towards the game Fiorentina-Juve. Before speaking about Mercato, I show you an image. This is the Viola Park, a really fantastic brand new training center opened by the president of Fiorentina, Commisso. Yesterday there was an open training session where the tifosi from Fiorentina were there to encourage their team. After the training session, the players went there to speak with them, or at least to listen what they were saying. They were saying that they were absolutely not happy with the 2 consecutive losses, but they were quite proud about their team because they know that they are giving everything. But then, of course, they started with Juve chance, or maybe anti-Juve chance. The first one against Vlahovic, ex from Fiorentina. The second one also against Federico Chiesa, ex from Fiorentina. And then also the one against Fagioli. We all know the problems of Nicolo Fagioli. Well, Fiorentina was starting. They are the first team that are starting to chant against Fagioli. Milan didn't. Verona, well, there was nobody, but they were not doing it. The first team that is doing it, not even in the game, not even with Fagioli present, is Fiorentina. Disgusting behavior. But I want to say to Fagioli, if he's watching the video, ragazzo, make sure that you are really prepared for this, because unfortunately the first year that you will come back, these chances will be there. They will be present because they will try to mentally make sure that you are losing your balance. Anyway, is it over? Absolutely not, because then they started again, Fiorentina, to inventing and to continue with their rivalry against Juve, saying on Sunday you have to give everything against this team, against that shit team. First one. Why? Because for us it is like a derby. Again, I have no idea where that idea that it is like a derby is coming from. It is an important game, absolutely. Yes, absolutely we have to pay attention. Absolutely, Fiorentina is doing really well. But again, do we have rivalry with Fiorentina from our side? Absolutely not. I would say we have against Milan. Yes. We have against Inter. Yes. Even if you are looking at the total trophies in the museum, and I can guarantee you that there are a lot. If you are speaking about first team only from Juve, well, 71 for Juve, only 43 for Inter. So is there also a rivalry? Probably yes. Inter, Juve, Inter, Derby d'Italia. If you are speaking about titles, there is no rivalry with nobody. Anyway, we move to another topic because we are preparing Fiorentina Juve. Corriere dello Sport is going with Dusan Vlahovic on the first page. Il caro Dusan, that you can translate in both ways. Dear Dusan, caro Dusan, dear Dusan, but also Il caro Dusan, the expensive Dusan. Why are they speaking about? Because you know that in the last few days they are speaking a lot about renewing possibly the contract of Dusan Vlahovic, not increasing in salary, but probably dividing the salary over more years. Why? Because apparently Arrivabene and Carovini, when they did the contract with Dusan, it was an increasing contract, a contract that is going from 7.5 when he started, increasing until the last year of his contract where he will hit 12 million euro. Something that is absolutely out of proportion for Serie A, for Juventus, something that is also, if we are really objective, at the moment out of proportion for the return on investment that we are seeing from the Serbian guy. That he has a lot of potential, yes. That he can compete in a few years to become one of the best strikers of the world, absolutely yes. That we are all happy that he stayed at Juve instead of selling him for Lukaku, we all agree on that. That we like him, of course, that is one of us, yes. But for 12 million euros salary, well, he will have to show. And the first thing that he has to show is on Sunday against Fiorentina, because he didn't enter really well against Milan. He didn't play well. He was the worst one against Verona. So we are expecting much more. Will he sign his contract, lowering his salary, something that we will see. But speaking about salary, Juventus is putting the fifth velocity on the car. Why? Because after Federico Gatti, after that is official now, after the first rumors of Fagioli that we already spoke 2 days ago in the video, the third one, and that will be really close to announce officially his contract extension in 2028, is Manuel Locatelli. And I can tell you that is something that I'm super happy about. You know that I'm a big fan of Locatelli already when he was a kid at Milan, when he was playing at Sassuolo, and I was extremely happy, I believe like a lot of Juventini, when he signed for Juve. I was happy about how he was playing, but I became even more a fan from the moment that I had the luck to have the interview with Locatelli. I defend him a lot of time, which doesn't mean that I can't say that when he's playing really bad or when he's not doing what I'm expecting from him, when he's going too much in terms of back pass and supporting the defense but not bringing anything to the strikers. Well, in the last few days, maybe a bit after that first call up from Spalletti in the national team of Italy, where he played that game, where he did really well, where he hit the bar, well, he continued again to increase his performances also with Juve. Juventus against Verona is playing much higher than usually, much higher, for example, than the first half against Milan, and we see Locatelli that I can tell you, fantastic player. Maybe one of the most difficult roles on the field in that 3-5-2 of Max Allegri, but I see a constantly growing Juventino, because yes, we are speaking about the Juventino, and I'm happy when we can have some Juventini in our team that can represent, that understand what is Juventus. So I would be extremely happy for him. After the renewals, well, we'll think of course about the January market, and if Samardzic is starting to be a bit nervous, is starting to push a bit because he wants to go to Juventus as soon as possible already in January, putting some likes, for example, after the Juve Verona victory on the post of Juventus, well, on the other side, Balzaretti, that is an ex-Juve player, that is now one of the sporting directors of Udinese, is saying, we will not sell Samardzic, or at least we will keep Samardzic until the end of the season. So Samardzic, it will be really difficult to convince Udinese to sell us the player in January. So if we are not able to sell any player who is doing well from the next gen, we are still waiting for Nonje and Hans Nicolosi to officially start with Juve, but there are two players that are doing quite well in the next gen. Haza, that I already told you, the one that won the best man of the tournament of under 19 last summer with Italy, but a fantastic qualitative player, really technical player playing in the midfield. And then a new one that we took on loan with an option to buy, that is Salifu. Scored 2 goals, his first 2 goals last game when they won 3-1 against Olbia. Well, the player is going towards a confirmation. Can these two players go and reinforce Juventus in January? I am not sure, but at least we have again other players in the queue pushing to say, if you need me, Max, we are ready. So pay attention, Haza and Salifu. You asked me a lot of time about Paul Pogba. We have some news. Well, the first loss of Paul Pogba, he will not go with his judgment in Switzerland, but he will be judged from the Italian sporting justice. And apparently they are saying that he will at least have 2 years of ban, and that will be really difficult for Juventus. What will that mean? That at the moment we are still paying him the minimal salary of €2,000 per month, which is the minimal that you have to give. But if the sentence will be definitive, and we are speaking about a sentence that could arrive in approx 10 days, well, it could be that Juventus stop the contract, something that at the moment we are not sure. Let's see what Juventus will do. But anyway, for the people that were impatient to ask us about updates about Paul, well, that's one of the updates, the big update, that in more or less 10 days we really know about the length of it. Can he reduce it? Probably, if he's finding a plea deal with the Italian justice. But again, these kind of things in more or less 10 days, mid-November, will keep you up to date. Another player that could go in, because again, if we have no Fagioli, if we have no Pogba, if we have only next-gen players on the bench, well, a player that could reinforce Juventus if Samardzic is not able to come in January, it could be Zielinski, that is in the last year of his contract with Napoli, has no intention to extend from both sides. So it could be a player that with a minimal investment could reinforce Juventus in January already, because he's a guy that Giuntoli already brought to Napoli. He knows him really well, and the first contacts with the entourage of the Polish player already started. Let me know what you think about Zielinski, and then we finish with the last part, the strikers, because Tuttosport is going with Moise Kean in big on their front page, saying "Provaci ancora, Ken." Try again, Moise Kean. Why? Because we all know that after the game against Verona, when he was subbed out at the 55th minute, I believe, he was nervous, he was furious, he went immediately to the dressing room, and usually there is a code of conduct that the players should go on the bench and not in the dressing room. Otherwise, they can be punished or with a fine or immediately being out of the squad list for the next game. This time Juventus showed again that they were really human, because if the referee didn't understand the moment of Moise and give him a yellow card, well, Juventus understood it really well. The guy saw a fantastic game, not rewarded with 2 cancelled goals, and on top of that a yellow card. They saw the moment of nervousness, being really nervous on the field from Moise Kean. Juventus decided to just forget about it. They spoke with the player, it's okay, and he will be there against Fiorentina. At the moment, he's one of the guys that is most informed from our strikers, not because he score or don't score, but because of the movement, because of the intensity, because of his shape. So I can say I would love to see him from the start against Fiorentina. Maybe again with Dusan Vlahovic and having Federico Chiesa from the start if he's not able to play 90 minutes. Well, I believe in Moise Kean, and I would love to see him from the start against Fiorentina, and maybe this time he will be able to score a goal that will be valid after the 3 goals that were cancelled to Moise since the beginning of the season. Guys, let me know what you think about today's video, about all the topics that we spoke about the hate of Fiorentina towards Juve, about Moise starting, about the contract of Dusan Vlahovic, about Samardzic that will be difficult in January, and so on and so on. I'm expecting a lot of comments. Grazie, forza, Juve.